Hi, first graders. We are on the last chapter of Junie B. Jones and the Mushy Gushy Valentine. It's chapter 8. And today we find out who sent Junie B. the Mushy Gushy Valentine, and it is called Who Knew? Pretty soon the bell rang for recess. I hurried over to my friend Grace because maybe she would help me find my secret admirer. Both of us skipped outside to the playground, and then all of a sudden I stopped real fast because I accidentally left my beautiful Valentine on the table, and I did not want anyone to take that lovely thing. Wait, Grace, wait right here. I'll be back in a jiffy, I said, and after that I ran my fastest back to room 9, and guess what? I spied that meanie Jim right at my table, and he was picking up my beautiful card. Hey, what do you think you're doing, mister? I yelled real loud, and then I zoomed to my table speedy quick, and I yanked that card right out of his mitts. And after that, I started running to the door, but Meanie Jim sprang right in front of me, and he held up his hand. Stop, he yelled. Don't take that Valentine outside. If you take it outside, you'll get it dirty. I made squinty eyes at that boy. No, I will not get it dirty, I said back. And anyway, this is not your beeswax, Jim. Jim stamped his foot. Yes, it is too, my beeswax, Looney B. Jones, he yelled. That card cost me a whole month's allowance, and I don't want you to get dirt on it. Boys and girls, he just said it cost him a month's allowance. So that means that Jim bought the card. Oh my. As soon as he said it, he quick put his hands over his mouth, but I already heard his words. And then I did a gasp. You? You, Jim? You're the one who bought this card? Why? How come? Is this some kind of meanie boy joke? Jim started sputtering a lot. No, I didn't buy the card. It just looks like it cost a lot of money, that's all. And whoever bought it probably spent his whole allowance on it, I bet. And then I kept staring at that boy because something smelled like fish here. But if you're not the one who gave me the Valentine, then how come you're acting so funny, Jim? And how come your words are all sputtery and nervous? And how come your face is all reddish and blotchy? And just then Jim clunked himself in the head. Darn it, I knew I'd ruin it. I always ruin everything. Now everybody in room 9 will know that I like you. And I wanted that to stay a secret, he said. And all of a sudden, my whole face felt happy. You like me, Jim? You really, really like me? Because you never, ever act like you like me. So since when did you start liking me? That's what I would like to know. Here's Jim. And he's clunking himself on the head because I don't think he meant to tell Junie B that he got that card for her. Jim's face got a silly look on it. Well, I've always liked you, he said real quiet. I just act like I don't like you so nobody will know that I like you. I looked confused at him. But if you like me, how come you always call me names? I asked. And Jim shrugged his shoulders. Because you call me names, he said. I did a big breath. Yes, Jim, I know I call you names, but that's because you started it first. No, I did not, he said. You started it first. I shook my head. No, Jim, you did. No, Junie B, you did. No, you did. No, you did. No, you. And all of a sudden, Jim raised his hand in the air, and he waved it all around. So I called on him. Jim, I said, maybe we both started it, Junie B. Maybe we both started calling each other names on the very same day. And just then I started to smile, because that would be fair of us, I think. And after that, I skipped around him in a nice happy circle. On account of this was a nice development. I grabbed his hand. Hey, Jim, let's go tell Mrs. that we're friends. Do you want to? Because she'll get a kick out of this, probably, I said. But all of a sudden, Jim plopped down on the floor, and he wouldn't even budge. I stared and stared at the top of his head. Okay, this doesn't actually seem like a good start for us, Jim. And then he looked up at me. I know, he said, but I can't tell the teacher that I like you. I can't tell anyone. If I tell people, it will ruin everything. I wrinkled up my eyebrows. Everything like what? I said. Like all my friends will know that I like girls, and that's embarrassing. Plus, room 9 won't ever be the same again. I did not understand. Why, Jim? Why won't it be the same? I asked. Because it'll be dull and boring, that's why. Because if you and I like each other, then I won't tease you anymore. And if I don't tease you anymore, then you won't tease me back. And that means You won't shout out silly, funny stuff at me that makes people laugh? And then he rocked back and forth on his feet, very bashful. You make room 9 sparky, he said, kind of quiet. And after that, he smiled very cute, and he poked my arm with his finger, and he made a sparky sound. Zzz, he said. Zzz, zzz. I laughed very loud, and I sparked him right back. Zzz, zzz, I said. And so guess what? Then me and that silly guy started chasing each other all around room 9, and we kept poking and sparking. And it was the most fun game that I ever heard of. Only too bad for us because all of a sudden we heard a noise at the door. Oh no, it was Mrs. She caught us in the room. Hey, what's going on in here? She said. You two are supposed to be on the playground. Me and Jim stopped very fast, and then Jim looked nervous at me because he was very afraid that I would tell his secret. And all of a sudden I pointed to him kind of mad. It was his fault, Mrs., because Jim poked me and made a sparky sound, and then I had to poke him back and make a sparky sound too, only he couldn't let that be the end of it. And so pretty soon we were chasing and sparking and chasing and sparking. And so now you came in the door, and so the chasing and sparking are over, apparently. And so we'll just be on our way to the playground, I believe. And then I tapped on her. Pardon me while I get by, I said, very polite. Mrs. rolled her eyes way back in her head. Honestly, you two, it's Valentine's Day, she said. Can't you get along for just one day? And after that, she took us by our hands and she marched us outside. We waited for her to leave. Then he looked at me kind of shy. You did good, he said. Thank you for not telling my secret. I smiled at that nice boy. That's okay. Thank you for my mushy-gushy Valentine, I said back. And after that, I faced my eyeball at him. Wink, wink, Jim. Wink, wink, wink. And guess what? Jim pointed his eyeball right back at me, and he winked very perfect. And after that, we ran off to play with our friends, or else people might think we liked each other, and that would ruin everything. And that's how come I never told anybody about Jim's secret, not even my best friends Lucille and Grace, because Meanie Jim is the best secret admirer that I ever had. And guess what else? Room 9 is still staying sparky. Zzz. And there they are. There's Junie B and Jim going off to play. I bet you were very surprised, boys and girls, to find out that Jim was the secret admirer who gave her a mushy-gushy Valentine, because they're always teasing each other in room 9. All right, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed that book, and we will start a new Junie B tomorrow.